Hello, on today's video we are going to install and configure SSL certificate for Accents 2019. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our SSL certificate. We don't have any SSL certificate, so it says your connection to the site isn't secure. So we are not going to use public certificate provider. We are going to create our own SSL certificate. So without any further ado, let's get started on how to install and configure SSL certificate for Accents 2019. First of all, we have to install Enterprise Root Certificate Authority on Windows Server 2019. Okay, let's go back to our domain controller and open Server Manager. Okay, from here, go and manage, add role and features, and click on next. Click on next. So this is our domain controller, which is DC1 IT Skill Up.online, and so we are configuring on the domain controller first. So this is our Accent server. So our Accent server IP is 192.168.78.11, and our host name for Accent server is MS1. Okay, and this is our domain controller. So on previous video, you already know how to configure and install Accent server. So this is the second part, how to install and configure SSL certificate for Accents 2019. We are going to do on local network. So it's not gonna work on outside the networks. It will only going to work on inside network because we are going to create SSL certificate locally. Okay, so this is the add role and feature wizards. Now go ahead and click on next. All right, so in here, as you can see here, there is a Active Directory Certificate Services. So go ahead and click on Active Directory Certificate Services and click on add features and click on next. So in features, we are going to click on next. Now in here, we are going to, this is the certificate services, so it is just the information. Click on next. So in here, we are going to do certificate authority and certificate authority web enrollment. Okay, add features, click on next and next. So in here, we are going to select the default one. So click on next. Now I'm not going to restart our server. I'm just going to install it. Okay, click on install. So it will process your installation. Okay, so our installation is currently running. So if you are looking for the good documentation for the installation and configuration for SSL certificate, there is a link in the description where you can follow. So the link will go to this page where you can see the installation and configuration SSL certificate for Accent Server 2019. So here you can see all of the documentation how to install and configure. So this will make easy when we are on the creating our Accent certificate. We have this PowerShell command, which is very handy while installing and configuring the SSL certificate. Okay, for now we are on our domain controller and we are installing our Active Directory Certificate Services. We are not doing on our Accent server. So this is our main domain controller. So we have to configure this certificate, Active Directory Certificate Services on our main domain controller, and then we are going to send this certificate to our local network from group policy, and then we will go from there. Okay, for now we are just waiting to finish this installation. All right, so finally the installation process is done. Now we can check our certificate. We don't want to configure Active Directory certificate service on the destination server. We are just going on a browser. I don't have it. Okay, I can open it from old Explorer, Accumulator. So we can do HTTP and our domain controller device name, which is DC1, and then do .srv. Okay, so this is very important. HTTP and your domain controller device name and /sort srv. All right, so there are some problems. Okay, we can check our oh sorry, we did not configure our certificate, so that's why we got the error. So make sure you are doing the configuration process as well. So my bad, I forgot to do the configuration process. Now we are on configuration process. This is the credential for the server to install, to configure the certificate. Click on next, and this is the two we want to specify: certificate authority and certificate authority web enrollment. Click on next. Now we want to do enterprise CA. Click on next. We want to do root CA. Click on next. Then we are going to create a new private key. Click on next, and we are going to use SSA 256. Click on next. And this is our CA name. All right, so click on next. The validity period for the certificate will be 5 years. Click on next. And this is the database for the certificate, so it will on sort log. Okay, click on next. So this is our all the information about the certificate services. So our CA type is enterprise root. Cryptographic provider will be RSA, and then SSA. The key length will be 2048, and we did not allow the administrator interaction. And this is the validity period, and this is all of the details of the certificate: name, database, location. Okay, now we are going to configure. All right, so our configuration process is done. Now we can close. We can go back to that. So this is the, here we go. Now we have the certificate, right? So now we can download our CA certificate. Click on download a CA certificate change, or CRL. Click on that one. Now we are going to download a CA certificate. Click on save. Okay. Now if you click on open folder, now we have the new certificate. Okay. So we are going to send this certificate to our network through group policy. Okay, now go on your server manager. Again, close this one. Fine. Now go on tools, or you can also do run, right? And then you can type GPMC, group policy management. Sorry, GPMC. No? All right, we are going to open from the server manager then. Okay, group policy management. So this is our group policy management console. I'm going to make bigger. Now go on forest. Our domain is IT skill up, expand it. Okay. Now we are going to edit default domain policy. It will open the group policy management editor. On here, we are going to configure computer configuration right here, and then under configure computer configuration, expand policies, and in here Windows settings, and under Windows settings, we are going to security settings. Okay, under security settings, there is a public key policy right here. We can expand it. Now, after that, we are going to trust root certificate authorities right here. Okay, trusted root certificate authorities, and right click on here and then import. Now I'm going to click on next and browse that download. It's on the download, browse that certificate. So select the file, our new certificate, click on open, click on next, and click on next. Now finish. Okay. Now we have successfully deployed our certificate on the local network. So now if you want to check, you can go on your client machine and you can check your root certificate from if you open group policy on your local client computer, and then you can check from there. Okay, so now the next step is we are going to we already deploy our root certificate on the on our network, so we are going to go on our Exchange server, and we are going on command prompt, run as an administrator, and we are going to do GPU update, GPU update / force. We are going to force that group policy update. Sorry, GPU update / force. Okay, so the computer policy update has been completed. So now we are going to create one folder on our C drive. All right, let's go ahead and create a folder, and we are going to provide the name as in source. Okay, and right click and go on properties. Now go on sharing, advanced sharing, share this folder, permission, and we are going to remove this one and add administrator. Okay, check names. Okay, and we are going to give this administrator change and read. And now we are also going to include system and system. Okay, and also give the permission change and read. Now we're going to apply. Okay, and apply. Okay, and close. So this is the path for this folder. Okay, now the very important process. So for this one, I'm going to open that documentation, install and configure our Exchange certificate. So generating an Exchange certificate request. So run Exchange management shell as an administrator, and we are going to create a new CSR, new certificate. All right, so go on Exchange management cell, right click, run as an administrator. Okay, wait for a bit and it will open. Now our first command. Okay, so the first PowerShell management Exchange management shell command will be this one. Just copy this one, open your notepad and paste here. Make sure you have your own domain controller name. So in here I have new Exchange certificate, generate request, subject name will be this one, and then this is my domain name, skill up Nepal, skill up Nepal cert, skill up Nepal. So I'm going to do IT skill up, and I'm going to edit IT skill up, and also in here I'm going to do IT skill certs, and on domain name I'm going to do IT skill up dot online. Make sure you have your domain controller exact name, otherwise it will create some error. So make sure one more time, new Exchange certificate, generate request, subject name will be CA, is equal to O equals to IT skill up, CN equals to IT skill source, and domain name is IT skill up dot online. So as you can see here on our domain, IT skill up dot online. Okay, and then private key exportable is true. Now I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste here, Control V. There. Okay, I think I didn't copy it. Copy and Control V. Right? Hit enter. Now it will create new CSR. Again, next command we are going to export that CSR file. So again, the same command, copy and go on notepad. Make sure you have the correct path here. I think I have the same folder name, certs, and this is the correct path for me. So if you have different name on this folder, make sure you have the correct name in here. Okay, now I'm going to copy this one and Control V. Again, we successfully import that certificate. So if you go on sorts, you can see the new certificate sort required REQ. Okay, now we are going to open this certificate. Open it and select all this gibberish file, Control A, and then you can do Control C for copy, or just click on copy. Now we are going to open our sort server. Okay, again HTTP, only HTTP, and our domain controller name, that's where we create that certificate services. So the domain name will be DC1. So it depends, if you have the same Exchange server and same domain controller, make sure you have correct domain controller name. So I have the DC1 where I install that certificate services, and sort SRV. Okay, so it required authentication, administrator, and then password for administrator. Okay, now request a certificate. This time we are going to request that certificate. Okay, request a certificate and click on advanced certificate request. Now paste that file, this file, we just copy it, paste that file in here. Okay, and certificate templates will be web server. make sure you have web server in templates and submit. Now you can download that certificate. So download certificate. As you can see here, it is saying that this could harm your devices. I'm going to keep. All right, so we have the new certificate in here. Okay, as you can go and download, you can see sort new. Just copy and paste on the sort folder we just created, right here, paste here. If you want to go along with the next command, you can change your this sort new file to exact this name. That makes easy. Now I'm going to copy this command. So what this command will do, this command will assign the certificate to the Exchange server. Okay, now go on your notepad and paste. Okay, so this is our, no, okay, yeah, this is the one. Make sure you have correct your Exchange server host name right here, and then source, that folder we created, and then that certificate name. Okay, make sure you have correct your Exchange server name in here too. I have the same ms1 name. You can check your server name in here, ms1. Okay, and in your sort folder here we have a different name. I'm going to change this certificate name to this one. Okay, now I can run this command. Make sure you have correct server name, otherwise you will get error. Okay, copy it and Control V, enter. All right, here we go. We have the new thumbprint. Now if we follow along with the documentation here, now we are going to assign that thumbprint and enable Exchange services. Now again, go ahead and copy this PowerShell command and paste on here. Now in here, make sure you have this thumbprint, not this one. Go ahead and Control C, select and Control C, and in thumbprint we are going to Control V. Okay, now copy this PowerShell command and Control V. Okay, and then press enter. All right, so we successfully assigned that thumbprint to the Exchange server. If you want to check whether there is any other thumbprint, you can check from get Exchange certificate. So in here, so the same thumbprint we have in here now is working. Now we are going to do our last command. If you go on the documentation, we have to restart the IIS services. So now in here, I'm going to type IIS reset and press enter. Now it will stop the IIS and it will restart it. Okay, After restart it, we are going to check our certificate is working or not. So we don't need this one. We are just waiting. Okay, so the internet service successfully restarted. Now we are going to open our new browser. Open new private window. Okay. Now in here type https your Exchange server host name dot your domain name and recipe. Okay, we successfully log in, right? But we want to make sure our certificate is working or not. Is you can see here, I will show you what was earlier. In here we have not secure, right? And then there is no certificate. But we just deploy our certificate, right? So as you can see here, our connection is secured now. And if you click on this one, the certificate has valid certificate issued by trusted authority. So this is not the public certificate provider. We just created our own SSL certificate. Now, if you go on server and go on certificate, I'm going to maximize the browser. As you can see here, this is our certificate. And if you double click on the Microsoft Exchange, you can see our certificate in here, and then you can also check the thumbprint which we have right here. 70, right? 70 right here. So this certificate will only work in the network or where you have that root certificate we deployed earlier to the group policy. Okay, so that means our certificate is working. You can check from here, connection is secured, and then you can also check from here. So the certificate services is IIS, and then this is all of the details about the certificate. Let's go back to our client computer and make sure we have the same certificate in our client computer as well. For that, we are going to run command prompt, run as an administrator. So this is the user PC, so that's why I have to specify the name of the administrator and then password. Okay, now we are on administrator and run GPU update /force. You remember that we deployed our certificate on the local network through group policy. For that, we are going to run this command to force the group policy to update. Now, as you can see here, the group policy update has been completed successfully, and the user policy also successfully completed. Okay, now we go back to our Outlook and we are going to open new private window and type https and then same this link. So again, our Exchange server host name, that will be ms1 dot our domain name and OWA for online Outlook access. Here we go, we have our connection secured. As you can see here, our connection is secure. We deployed that certificate from here. So this is our certificate. Okay, now you can check email So this username is John Singer, and then password for this user, sign in. All right, so we successfully install and configure SSL certificate on our local network. So this again, this certificate will only work where you have that root file. Remember the root file, we have root certificate, we have in here. This is the trusted root certificate. So if you have this root certificate, this certificate will work. So if you go out of the network, it doesn't work. Okay, so that's how you can install and configure SSL certificate in Exchange Server 2019. Thank you.